Well, we would love to open the wonderful time that we have together, chanting the 3 Oms together, and having a little Hari Om chant that we'll do responsively.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om.
Hari Hari Om.
Hari Hari
Hari Om. Well, you've already taken the first few steps. We're having 6 steps in developing ourselves in the spiritual life. And just coming together like this is more than step number 1. Because it takes something to think about it, to actually show up, and then to be here and start singing. So you can take that for the first step, sort of rounding it out and opening it up. So we hope that the fruits of that beautiful tree of knowledge that you see on one side of the room here, we hope that the fruits that will come from our being together will, in a sense, stretch out your inner yearning to continue to walk the steps. You know, there's the old song, climb every mountain and ford every stream. That's life. You have to keep going. Never lose the step that you're on right now. Don't go down to the bottom and start all over again. Set up camp where you are. Let the storm pass, whatever are the difficulties, and then keep going. That kind of discipline, that kind of dedication in your life to reach the way of life that ends up with happiness. Because you're full of happiness. You are a creature of happiness. You're not going to get it from outside. You already have it, but it gets veiled. So you don't always experience it. But does the sun come and go? Sometimes it's pretty dark. But the sun is right there. Get in the plane, go above the cloud, and you're in the bright sunshine. So don't ever think that you're losing any of that inner light, any of that inner happiness, love, and peace. That's your nature. That's you. The divine in you is love and peace and happiness and radiance. So try to realize when we're walking around in this world, you know, I'm using this body. The microphone is not the real me. The message is coming through the microphone, but the message is coming from some thought. And that's the way we are. We're all divine beings having a human experience in this lifetime. We're never going to die, as the saying goes, to die. We just drop the body and go on. So what is going to be our foundation? You have to stand on some kind of a ground before you can take steps to go anywhere. You're not just in midair. So what is it that we have to understand? And it can take years to understand, really understand it. Maybe you can memorize it, but that's not living it. I am not the body. I'm using it. It's my body, right? So if it's my body, it can't be me. But I certainly need it. I can't even walk the steps without a body. The body helps me to have all levels of that experience. And I'm not this mind. It's my mind. It belongs to me. And when I can understand, I want to live a more rich life. And I don't have to have a bank either. I want to live a rich life, full life. I need the body and I need the mind because I'm an instrument of God. Every one of us is. We are divine beings, but we're having a human experience. And this is the life that we're going through now. What about your pet that you left at home? Your pet's a divine being also. What's its purpose? To live the dog's life, a cat's life, a bird's life. It's an animal experience. And if the animal wants to live the happiest life, it has to have that body, that name, in order to move through life in an enjoyable way. So keep in mind, we're not talking about floating in the mid-air somewhere. We've got bodies, and these bodies like to stand on solid ground, and the thoughts are way up. We have high thoughts, simple living. That makes us enjoy everything in life. And so, when we think of the steps that we're going to take in order to move along, we want to say, what is it that I want to do in this life? I want to live. And if I want to live in this life, I want to live a happy life. I want to live a good life. I want to live a serviceful life. Otherwise, you know, after a week or two of other kinds of living, you're you're sort of bankrupt. It doesn't last. All these wonderful things that come, you enjoy it, nothing wrong with it, but then it's gone. I have to look for something else. Why not go inside and find that true happiness and love and light within you that never runs dry, because that is your real life. That's the God in you, infinite, omnipresent, omnipotent. And anything else that we say that doesn't agree with that, I'm sorry, it's not true. Because it is an accepted truth that cosmic energy, consciousness, awareness is everywhere. So, what am I going to do with this life that I have? I want to live. But you know, in the word live, you've got this little I with a dot on it. And it, in a way, modifies my living. It keeps me small. If I take the dot off of that I, what does it become? A capital I, right? You have to dot it. You take that little smudge off, and you have a capital I. Now, if I would have a capital I inside, I would really be living, do you see? And I want to have that kind of a life. But that little I, or even the big, when we use the word I this, I that, me and my, what is it doing to my life? It's sort of squeezing it, isn't it? With your hands, hold your hands in the form of an I. You know, it's just together. Now, I want to make the I bow-legged. So if you put it a little bit, pull it apart a little, what does it form? Oh, you can form a heart. That's fantastic. But if you weren't that artistic, and you just opened it like this, what would it form? An O. Now, to really live, what do you have to have? Love. Lots of love. That's the secret. In fact, we could say, bye. That's it. Because if you have love, you're really going to be able to live. Because one of the first steps in living is serving. But you can't serve. You can't be useful to others around you, and to yourself either, unless you have love. Love means look out for the good of the other. Don't ask how am I going to be taken care of, because I am other to all the other people. Just like they are other to me, I am other to everybody else. So if you really, from your heart, take care that other people feel loved, served, cared about, appreciated. When was the last time, I'd like to say since lunch, but maybe we could say all day. When was the last time that you said thank you to somebody? I really enjoyed that. I really appreciate that. That was so kind. Any of those expressions. You know, now count the times. What does it mean? There's a little selfishness there. When you were at lunch and someone spent time making a delicious meal, and you took 2 helpings of this and a little extra of that, and you get up from the table and you said, well, I think the program has started already on television, I have to go. And the person who made the meal was thinking of you and tried to make something special. And if you noticed it and said it to someone, they would say, well, I took 3 helpings. They should know that I liked it. Would that make you happy? If you were the cook, for someone to say, well, yeah, you know, yes, I saw them take 3 helpings. But I knew it was their favorite food, and so I made it. They could have said something. I mean, they just got up and left. That is a part of serving with love, not just serve. Serve is the first step, but the step right above it is love. And you realize the 2 really have to be together. Maybe you can love to serve, but you should serve with love. And that makes a difference, a real difference. Master Shivananda, Gurudev's guru, or teacher, was a medical doctor for many years, active, very fine in his practice. And he said, I really want to move into spiritual food for people. And he said, you know, I was thinking in terms of making it like little pills. What can I say that would come out and inspire people? In fact, they could even sing it. So he gave this whole spiritual treatise in one word at a time. Listen carefully. The first 6. Serve, love, give, purify, meditate, realize. Got it? It's a whole textbook. Every step in the spiritual growth is there. Serve, love. So serve with love and love to serve. Those steps go together. And when you do that, you're giving yourself. How many times do we realize that we are really giving when we're serving? You're giving of your energy, you're giving of your thoughts, your love, you're giving of your time, you're giving of your talents, you're giving of your knowledge, and you're giving of that energy that you treasure a lot, because that's the way you grow. So don't think that when you're serving, that's just any old little thing. There's an art of giving. In the Sufi tradition, there's a song that they sing in first meetings. So you form a double circle so that everybody is facing someone else. Could you find someone to look at that without making too much change in your positions? And this is their little song, and it's on giving. These are the actions that go with it. Ready? You can turn and look, because we'll do it again. But right now, do it with me. Ready? To you I give, from you I receive. Together we share, by this we live. So find somebody that you can look at. Yes. Good. Now, the actual song, the spiritual technique of it is to look at the other person in the eyes. The eyes are the mirror of the soul. So you want to, that's all, then you're going to pass to the next person. But when you look at another person and look them in the eye, that is the first level of knowing that person. So you sing to them, but look them in the face. Ready? To you I give, from you I receive. Together we share, by this we live. Thank you. One more time? Oh, wonderful. It's a beautiful way of introducing yourself. Ready? To you I give, from you I receive. Together we share, by this we live. Wonderful. Now, in order to even do that much of service to each other, where we really were thinking of the other person, we have to turn a certain way, and now we have to go back to the position. So we were giving. We gave of time and energy and thought and movement, consideration. And that's purifying. So when you give, your next step is purify. Because it takes away a lot of selfishness, a lot of me, myself, and I. That's a crowd already, you know. And when people want to be so aggressively important, you could tell those three people to, you know, you could do that yourself. You have a crowd already. But we like the we, us, our way of living. So giving and purifying, really that on those steps of the stairs to grow. And you realize you don't stop doing serving because you begin to grow in love. You're not going to get rid of any of those steps. It's like a ladder. When you go from one step to the next, do you throw away the first step? Well, I'm going up to the roof. I don't need that. Well, you get about halfway up of doing that kind of action, and the ladder falls apart, and you don't go anywhere near the roof. You've absolutely collapsed with the ladder on top of you. That was not a good idea. So hold on to all the qualities, because it makes the love and the service and the growing, the giving and the purifying all the more. So in your everyday life, you're doing your hatha. What is hatha? Meditation in movement. So don't think that you're not doing meditation. I only do hatha. Your hatha is the starting point for meditation. And you have to practice meditation in doing the hatha. Where is this hatha, this asana, affecting my body? I want to breathe in, breathe while I'm holding it, breathe out correctly while I'm finishing the hatha. Yeah, it's a constant concentration. But because you enjoy the movement is flowing. It's a purifying concentration. And your mind is really focused. You're not going to hurt yourself. Oh, I turned too quickly. Why? Because I was thinking of something else. If you keep your mind on the asana as you move into it, stretch. Have you watched a cat wake up? You know, maybe the cat is lying all the way, stretched out. Little paws together, and the face on the paws. When the cat wakes up, it just moves and stretches. You feel like the back stretch and the legs are stretched. They don't just go like this. That is what you call a stretch. And that's what hatha is all about. It's about discipline, it's about dedication, it's about control. You're devoted to your practice because you feel so good afterwards. But if you're not stretching, you're just jerking, you're not getting the benefit. So be careful with that word, purifying. Purifying means getting rid of all the distractions that are not needed and focusing. So don't forget, when you do your hatha, you are doing the first stages of your meditation. You're learning to hold a position, otherwise you can't call it an asana. It's a steady pose. And then you went into it thoughtfully and you hold it and you go out of it thoughtfully. You have purified those few moments of your life because you were focused. You didn't hurt yourself. And from that purification, you can meditate. Because meditation can happen when you are focused. How did you get lost in a good book? Do you remember getting lost? Maybe not getting lost, but when you were awakened from that complete absorption in your book, you realize that you're coming back into the use of all your senses. You didn't hear anything outside of you. You didn't see it getting dark. You were reading, that's all. You didn't know that you were turning pages. You didn't smell and hear the food cooking. All you were aware of was living in the story. Do you realize that? You didn't have any other awareness. But there's stages to that. And concentration has actual stages where you lose awareness of certain senses. They don't get hooked up with the brain. So when we talk about purifying, and getting into a deeper concentration, we're talking about stages of concentration. You didn't pick up the book, read the first 2 or 3 sentences, and get lost in the book. It just doesn't happen like that. So it takes time. So clearing your mind of all kinds of distractions takes time. Don't get disappointed. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. You have a story about not giving up. That would fit in right now.
No, I told that yesterday, so let's go on. I have a couple of stories for your servant Lob.
Oh, all right. But you know, if you never give up, you're going to succeed one day. You know, Edison had 800 attempts at the light bulb. And he kept account of them because he kept a record of what he did. And somebody said, "You're crazy." I mean, 800 times, and you haven't succeeded yet. You're a total failure. How can you even face yourself the next morning? And he said, "I didn't have 800 failures. I had 700 interesting experiences, realizing that I will be able to do this if I do it this way, or I'll be able to have an invention like this if I do this. I just don't have a lamp bulb." And he kept going and ended up with a lamp bulb, with a light. But then he had 700 and some other ideas that took him on a different route. It didn't come in as a light bulb, but he succeeded. And he had the right attitude. I just didn't get the light bulb, that I didn't fail. And when you go slip into meditation, it may last just a little bit. It doesn't last very long. But when you come back from that, you realize it was a different experience from the experience I was just in. So peaceful, so quiet, so clear. There was no mind figuring, working, thinking. Everything, I would say, I am. That's the experience. And you remember when Moses asked the burning bush, you know, who are you? You're talking. You're telling me to take my shoes off. This is holy ground. And you're burning, but you're not disappearing. Who are you? What did he hear from the bush? What was it? I am. Now, if you would ask somebody something and they answered you, I am, you would think, oh, excuse me, I didn't hear you. What did you say? Why? You were looking for more information. So he asks again, who are you? And he says, I am. That I am. There is nothing more. I am. That is meditation experience. I am. Not I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a child, I'm a dancer, I'm a doctor, I'm a teacher, I'm a gardener. No. I am. Energy, consciousness, awareness. That's why if you say, who am I? I am a divine being having a human experience in this lifetime with all the things that go with a human experience. It's very, very interesting. And if you want to keep up the experience of those steps, you want to realize I have to be able to live with other people. I have to be able to talk with other people. I have to develop these skills of living, of working, of talking, of communicating, of loving, of walking together, staying together. You know, if you think of a marriage, you go through all those steps. Walk together, talk together, work together, love together, play together. And what do you want to end up with? I hope. Stay together. And that is the definition of community. You know, when you live in a community of people, you want to be able to have that kind of relationship. And you know, all of you who study together, you are students of yoga. Yoga itself makes up a community. People of like wishes and like standards of living. And it makes you comfortable. You can find your friends in groups where people think similarly. Are you going to ever find somebody who thinks exactly the same way as you do? You would almost say, I hope not. That would be pretty boring. Not much fun. There are no two people exactly alike. And that's good, because we all grow. And when we are taking steps in our spiritual life, we're really growing, because we are opening up, just like that little eye opens up and becomes an O. That is the growth. You don't have to shoot up to 7 feet. You can just open up the heart, open up the mind, and you find that you are communicating better immediately. If you just stay squeezed up, then you're one of those I, me, my consciousness. And Gurudev giving a talk to a group of doctors, they asked, would you come and tell us something on wellness? And after the introduction, he went to a board, took the chalk, and he wrote on the board, I plus illness, L-L-N-E-S-S, spells what?
Illness.
Illness. We, got it? We plus illness spells what?
Wellness.
Wellness. That's the trick. Open yourself up. Get rid of just being focused on me, myself, and I. Be inclusive. Accept, encourage, come together. It's very beautiful. We have a little song that we sing for the lotus. I don't know whether you've seen pictures of the shrine, the lotus shrine. The truth is one, but the paths to it are many. keep your path, love your path, you're going to end up at the source. Because the source is like a light that sends its rays out in all directions. And that ray of light is a path. It takes you back to its source. Don't try to walk 2, 3, 4 paths at one time. You'll fall into the ditch. Between this ray and that ray, you collapse. Stick with your ray, but appreciate the other paths. And be so happy that whoever is on that other path is living a beautiful life, a good life. They don't have to believe exactly what you believe, but what you say you believe, walk it. You see, that is what is important. Walk your talk. Whatever you believe, be the example of that, hopefully a beautiful example. And then you encourage everybody else to walk their path. And so we learn about different faiths, and we realize all these faiths are basically, because they have somewhere with the different names or the same name, the 10 Commandments. You know, because God told Moses, those paths are guided by commandments that are written in the heart of man. So they're in everybody's heart, no matter what it is. And they follow a certain path because they feel their life gets strong guidance from that particular path. So we should feel good about the path we're on. Love it. And love everybody else. Encourage everybody else to also walk their path. Because if we're meditators, we've been serving, loving, giving, purifying, meditating, we're going to have that kind of all-inclusive love that is going to encourage everyone. That's spiritual life. We're going to be happy, we're going to be healthy, and we're going to be holy. 3 H's. What happens if you would stand those 3 H's on top of one another?
It's a ladder.
You got a ladder. Do you see? You're climbing the spiritual life. Starting, be healthy. Take care of your body. Then be happy. When your body and mind are in good shape, you're able to walk about and be with people. You're happy. You're able to have a clear mind and conscience. And when you've reached those combinations of being healthy and happy, people say you're holy. Because you are just contented with who you are, where you are, what you have, how it's to be used. You're contented. That is holiness. The holy person can live anywhere. Maybe you've heard of some people who've lost in fires or floods in the last maybe 6 months. Some of them are disconsolate. They're going from one doctor to another. And then there are others of that same group that feel so appreciative. You know what? For the first time in my life, I don't have all kinds of things that I have to take care of, that I'm clinging to, thinking that with those things, I am some special who. And now it's all gone. It's all burned up. Everything is gone. And you know what? I feel pretty happy. I still have some food. I still have a set of clothing to wear. I still have a job waiting for me. And not only I'm living in some kind of a little tent city where there are other people who are also able to be happy. You have to understand what is happiness. It's not possessions, because they come and go. We have to learn how to appreciate what we do have. And what we do have, you make use of it. And all of these beautiful qualities of caring and sharing, being grateful. And that sort of is the Lotus Song. Brothers, sisters, all God's children, let us live in love and light. Let us share the peace and joy of living in true harmony. Walk together, talk together, let love fill all days to come. Know that light shines deep within you. Let us live in peace as one. Thank you so much.